It sounds like you've solved the one of the biggest problems career coaches have, which is demand, right? Creating demand, like any business, creating demand for your service. It doesn't sound like you're having that problem, which is great. So it sounds more of a how do we filter out the people who are already reaching out to you to the ones who can afford to pay you for the service, right? And what am I selling them in what form? Is that right?
Right. So
What would make it a priority? So I just want to understand what your motivation is. Like if you say, hey,
yeah.
I want to get started and start making money, now I know what we're trying to do. So if I
Yeah.
know what your objective is, let's say in the next 3 months where you want
Yeah.
this to be, what would that look like? Give you some case studies of the career coaches I've worked with. It'll give you a good enough idea of what facets of the program they're working on. Like who's doing resume, who's doing career clarity, whatever. It'll give you some ideas rolling. And then also think about things other than career coaching as well. And I know this is a complete tangent, but I have so many people who come to me saying they want to start a career coaching business, and a month into working together, they want to do something completely different. So recently, one of my new clients, she was a cybersecurity recruiter. So she's like, I've got 7 years of experience doing this. I'm just going to teach people how to get into cybersecurity. And we got started working together. And every time I'm talking to her, like, do you like doing this? And she's like, yeah, I have all the credentials. Well, just because you have the credentials doesn't mean you like doing it, right? So I really asked her, like, okay, if you could teach something to somebody for the rest of your life, what would it be? And she's like, oh, yoga, 100%. So now it's like, well, if you want to do yoga, why are we building a cybersecurity business here? So she's like, no, it's more practical. I got the experience, whatever. But after a couple of calls she got on, she's like, I don't really want to do this. And I was like, let's not do it. And then we completely switched. And now what she's doing is she's helping professional people in the VFX industry who are burnt out of their minds. And she helps them de-stress through yoga and meditation. So it completely took a shift. So I'm not saying that that's the route you want to go, but it helps to explore. Because if let's say you and I are working together, I can help you make a business about hula hooping if you want. It doesn't really matter. It could be whatever.
Yeah.
But the longevity is important, something you really enjoy doing. So I'm just reflecting on the conversation I had earlier today where somebody wanted to start their own career coaching business, and that is my expertise. Most of my clients are in career coaching. So it's very easy for me to say, yeah, I can help you. But a very important question to ask is, why do you want to be a career coach? Is this what you see yourself doing for the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years? And you'd be surprised how many people say, no, it's just the opportunities there. I have the experience. I worked in HR, or I've landed a job in this industry and I have the knowledge and I can disseminate it, but they're not really passionate about it. It's more of there's a demand and I can start my business and make some money out of it. And why do I know this? Is because I did the same thing. When I was a recruiter, I had all this knowledge about resume writing, interview process, all that. And I said, okay, I can take this, create a business of my own. But I never stopped to ask, do I really want to do this? Do I really want to talk about resumes, interviews, cover letters, networking for the rest of my life? And the answer was no. So a lot of times when I'm networking with people, or people book a call with me, they say, hey, I want to start X business. I ask them, is it because you are passionate about doing it, or is it because you think it's practical to do it because it makes sense based on your experience? And even though you have the experience, it doesn't mean you're going to be happy doing it. So if you're thinking of starting your own thing, are you really going to enjoy doing that? That's a big question to ask. So what I'm doing now is my clients will usually record their sales calls, and then they will share those with me, and then they'll ask for feedback. They'll say, hey, this is what I said here, this is what I said there, what could I improve? So I scrub through their sales calls. I ask them, okay, tell me which part you talked about what. Obviously, I'm not going to go through the whole hour, right? And then I give them specific feedback on those areas. Oh, when you talked about price, this happened. They said this is probably why it happened. They said they want to think about it. This is probably why it happened. And I get to catch them real time in things that they can improve. So I love doing that. It's kind of like a live case study, and I have so many of these, so many sales calls that I've dissected. And I think back from my public speaking days, I used to do this with people when I was teaching them public speaking. I would get them to speak, then I would show them things that they're struggling with, and then they would improve on that. And it's just so fulfilling to see that change. As for the day itself, I didn't really get a whole lot done. I woke up, went to the gym, and I was really tired after my workout. I had a networking call. I sent a few emails out. I checked some listings. Pretty much the whole day was spent on looking for a place because I'm leaving in about a week and I haven't found a place yet, so all my attention is there. And then I'm also selling all the things in my house now, so it's a lot of personal stuff going on that I'm thinking of how am I going to get furniture there in Toronto, figuring out the flights and all that. So a lot of my attention is there. And I think I'm going to still try to get as many networking calls this week as I can, but next week, once I move, a lot of adjustment will have to take place and I have to really ramp it up. So my idea with moving to Toronto is this: here in Vancouver, I'm finding that the pace is too slow. And I'm also not finding a lot of people who can relate to me. I don't find a lot of people in the same industry doing the same thing. It's kind of me, myself. Everyone else is doing something completely different. Whereas in Toronto, I know a lot of people doing something like myself. So I want to be surrounded by people with the same level of hustle that I have, with the same level of ambition that I have, and also people in the same industry. So once I get there, I'm gonna move into my place, get a desk, get a sofa, get a bed, and all I'm gonna do is almost a work hibernation. So from October, when the winter starts, or November, I guess, as soon as I move there to early next year, I'm just going to be working on my business. Yeah, I'll try other places out and see what's going on, but it's essentially for me to go and focus and do the work. So I can get away with a couple of weeks of not doing anything right now, because once I get there, man, we are going to make things happen. So I will see you tomorrow.